Hello everyone, I'm Victor Fitzgerald. I'm going to be walking you through an app today called CodeQuest. CodeQuest is an app that's built to teach young students how to code in HTML. What happens is it actually is a very simple way of learning the basics of HTML, which I have a little bit of a problem with, just because it's missing a couple of the things that we need. I'm going to go ahead and skip the intro here. You can play through it if you download the game in your own time. The first thing you do when you start learning HTML in the app is you actually take tags and you feed them to this little robot here. Once you have them all put in, it will spit out an HTML recipe for you. You don't actually touch any syntax. You don't do anything like that in the first step. Then you immediately jump over to CSS and changing the background color of your site, which I have a little bit of a problem with also because you haven't taught any of the actual HTML yet. So if I want to use a black background, I just drag it over into the screen and drag it over into my CSS where it populates the syntax and everything for me. Now it's nice that it does actually show the syntax, but it's a little bit of a problem that the kids don't have to pay attention to what that is at this point. And also when you switch between HTML and CSS, you're going to notice something pretty big is missing in your HTML, the link selector between your HTML and your CSS. There's also no doc type, which is just bad form. So as you continue through the game, you're going to be able to make choices like this, where you can, now I'm going to go ahead and just style my heading. So what this will let me do is it'll let me select my text, then I can switch between HTML and CSS. So I've got HTML there, got CSS there, and I'm going to go ahead and change my font just by simply selecting it, and then I'm going to move on. So again, you can pretty much just breeze through all of these challenges. If I was a first grader, say, I think I would get a little bit more out of this, but the problem then is that a student will say that they've coded and won't actually be able to do it. They don't know any of the syntax that is required for learning to program in HTML or CSS. They've seen it, but they've never actually done it. Now, that is about the biggest qualm that I have with apps like this. They almost dumb the programming down so far that people can't do it again, which I have a problem with. Now, in an educational context, again, I would put this in early elementary school grades. I would not touch it anything above second grade, and the reasoning there is just because kids need to start learning syntax, and they need to understand attention to detail, which this app does not show at all when it comes to programming. Now, because of that, I'm still going to rate it as a relatively high app, just because in a kindergarten to second grade iPad distribution, it would be a worthwhile game to have. For other grades though, I think you're going to run into trouble if you try to use this app. It's an interesting app, it's fun to run through, it's very easy. I would be willing to take kindergartners through it, but moving forward or having it on distributions of iPads that go into middle school would be a no-no. If you have any questions about this review or how I use apps to teach coding in my classroom, feel free to leave a post on this video or visit me at victorfitzgerald.com. Thanks.